All right. Good evening, everyone. This is Tisha Spencer, and I am here to go ahead and talk to you about how to turn a cruise into a fundraiser. I know many people have thought about this, had questions about this, and if you're a nonprofit organization, this is honestly a great and fun way in order to get your people to get on a ship, have fun, and make a little bit of money for whatever your nonprofit organization is. Those of you that are joining, please drop a note on the bottom into the comment. Go ahead and let me know which organization that you are representing, which nonprofit that you think this might work for. I want to hear from everybody that is on here, and I'm real excited to go ahead and share this. But the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to share you a quick video, because some of you actually may not know much about Norwegian, may not know much about Norwegian. I want to go ahead and show you some information about them, and I want to go ahead and show you a quick video. Give me 1 second as we flip over, and here you go. All right, that was a quick little video. I wanted to go ahead and put that actually in the actual presentation, but I was having a little bit of difficulty. We're going to go ahead and go back to the PowerPoint presentation. All right, I see I already have one chat. I'm going to go ahead and answer questions at the end, but I see we have somebody who is representing the Lupus Foundation. So basically, to get started when you're planning a group cruise, there are some tips that I want to go ahead and share with you. The very, very first thing you want to do is you want to make sure that you start planning and communicating early with your people. This is important because you want to make sure that you find a sailing that is actually going to work. You want to make sure that it's going to destinations, and you're talking to not just your actual committee, but you want to make sure, like, for instance, we have somebody representing the Lupus Foundation. You want to make sure that you try to get the national organization involved and see what they can do and help you. The next thing you want to do is to choose a travel date early and set it in stone. The worst thing that you can do is select the travel date and then continue to keep changing the dates because this happens and that happens. What that'll do is you could lose out on amenities, you can lose out on pricing, you can even lose out on people wanting to attend if you keep changing the dates. Now, you want to make sure that you're keeping everyone informed when you're doing a group cruise, because you want to make sure that everyone has the most current and accurate information. And look at it this way: if they have all the information about what's going on, pricing, etc., they can accurately tell other people to get them to join you as well. Then you want to plan activities everyone will enjoy. Now, for many of these group cruises, they're going to be multi-generational. You're going to have people with families. You're going to have people that are grandparents. You're going to have those that may not really want to do too much, just want to lay out in the sun. So you kind of want to get to know who's actually going on the cruise on a general level, not necessarily saying that you have to ask everybody a question to find out exactly what they're into. And then last, you want to enjoy your party and celebrate all the hard work that you have done and have done with me. Because like I said, I am a travel agent and I'm here to help you put not just a group cruise together, but I actually want to show you how to put a fundraising trip together. So again, we're going to start planning and communicating early. By organizing this trip early, it can become complicated. So you want to make sure that you hit those hurdles early, especially if you're planning to have a large group. So I generally say do it about a year or so in advance of when you actually want to travel. This gives you a lot of time to plan, but do note that final payment is technically due about 90 days before sailing. So I always like to go ahead and say maybe a year and 3 months, 3 or 4 months, just as so you have enough time for the final payment to come in. Now, you also want to look at the fact that your group may have guests with special needs or those that might require special consideration. Now, this can be something as simple as food allergies. You want to make sure that it's documented. It could be a child who is on the spectrum of autism. It could be anything, but you want to make sure that that is relayed to your travel agent, me, and is actually set to the cruise line so they can actually prepare. One of the things most people don't understand when you're dealing with somebody with special needs and considerations like wheelchairs and walkers and stuff is that those rooms go very, very fast. And you want to make sure that you can grab them early if you need them. And plus, by doing everything early and communicating early, you're basically giving people enough time to take that time off of work. You know, that's really important. Now, the next thing you want to do is choose the travel date and set it in stone, like we said before. By finding a date that works with everybody, I know some people's like, you know what? I can't even find people to go out to dinner at the same time, at the same date, the same location. How am I going to get everybody to go on a group cruise with me? But you know what? It's crucial to figure this out, and it goes with the steps of planning the travel. You want to stay away from busy times of the year, such as major holidays, right before school starts or ends. Now, if you are dealing with a group that you know does not have a lot of kids or is not planning to go with kids, you know, going before and after school doesn't really make a difference. But if you're trying to get people who are family oriented or teachers or in education, this can be really hard because most people in education have to start the classes and start prepping almost 2 to 3 weeks before the kids actually show up. Now, your group may prefer to travel during a particular time of the year, so ask them for suggestions. Now, if you're dealing with a very, very large group, you know, I would suggest get a committee together in order to make these decisions. Now, you want to announce this information as far as possible, in as far advance as possible, even if you don't have a particular date. This is basically like a save a date, so your possible attendees can start thinking about it. So now when you're thinking about your attendees, these are not necessarily just people in that chapter or people who are just in that organization. The purpose of this is to be able to announce this to everybody, your friends, your coworkers, Facebook, Twitter, because you want to get as many people as possible interested in talking about your event. Now, avoid date changes. Once you have solidified a date, start the planning, and that's it. Because if you change the date, it affects everyone. And then it could affect the pricing, the amenities, you know, who can go, could affect sponsorship. So it's better to take extra time in the front and make sure you choose that date very, very carefully than to just to quickly pick a date and just say, okay, we're going to go on this day and find out if this doesn't even work for key people you need to attend the cruise. Now, the next thing is you want to keep everyone informed. Now, it's very crucial to update people regular. And it's not even just updating to say, okay, you know, about pricing, but you want to update them if there's any changes on the ships or if, you know, pictures of the cruises, locations that you're going to be with, cruise excursions, but it's keeping them updated and soliciting ideas from the group helps you plan and keep them involved because nobody wants to plan something and pick things that nobody really wants to do anyway. Give them the opportunity to participate, to do some polls, to talk to you, give their ideas. You can use different things like a group newsletter. You can do Facebook event page, whatever your organization or your chapter does in order to get information out. Use all the tools that you have. And like I said, everybody is basically on Facebook. 90% of the people on Facebook at some point during the day have a group set up. And that way, me and whoever is in charge of the group can go ahead and post different things. I can share videos. I can share testimonials. I can post things to get people excited, let people know, hey, we got another cabin that was booked. And then, of course, you want to send email as well, because, again, that other 10% that may not be on Facebook regularly, they're probably going to check their emails. And emails is a good way to let people know, like, I have a group right now, and I send them email reminders, say, hey, final pay date is coming up. Don't forget to get your travel insurance. Don't forget to pick out which excursion you want to go on. You know, so you want to make sure that you're touching hands. And then if you are tech savvy, you know, you can set up things like forums and blogs. You know, we could do a mini site on my site that gives you a little bit more flexibility, allows you to ask more questions, and people can even register on some of these sites, and you can get real-time replies. Now, when you're planning activities that everybody will enjoy, it is difficult because, like I said before, you have people that are coming from different age groups. They're coming from different walks of life. They're coming from different desires of why they're going, because you remember, some of these people coming might just be coming because somebody told them, hey, you need to come on this trip with me. It's for a good cause. So you want to consider whom you're planning for and what they will enjoy. Now, on these trips, when you're doing your fundraising event, like we're going to keep using lupus because that's the only one I've seen that popped up. You might want to have an event where it is a lupus informational, where people can get a better understanding what lupus is, how does it affect people, and how by them attending this cruise with them will actually go, what the money is going to go towards to, and how they're helping people. Don't try to guess what they want, but I always suggest that if you are going to do a fundraising event, you definitely want to talk about the organization that you're raising the money for, and, other ways that people could help and things of that nature. This is also about keeping them informed, and it's also about getting the awareness out. That is the purpose of a cruise fundraiser for a nonprofit, is to get the awareness out of the condition, the organization, whether it's a scholarship, medical, anything that you're trying to do. Now, at the end, we've done all the work. We got everything booked. Everyone is happy. So now you want to go ahead, celebrate, and enjoy your hard work. Now, remember, as you're getting close to the date, make sure your committee is working well. Ask people for help if you need it. Recruit people, because the last thing you want to be doing is getting stressed out after doing all the work. You can't enjoy yourself, as it says. But, many of you will have a committee, but even committees will get stressed out, and they're going to enjoy going on this cruise. But one of the things that you can do by working with us, we're going to help lessen that stress. And many of you probably don't know that when you do a group on Norwegian and you have a fundraiser, you're actually going to have an event coordinator that's going to be there the entire ship sailing in order to help you with any of the questions and things that you might have, if people get lost, or things that you want to things that you might want to do. It could be just as anything as if you want to set up your own flyer of schedule events that you're doing on the ship, because you can actually even do that too as well. The next thing we're going to talk about is fundraising, what a fundraising cruise offers. I see you, Linda, and we can definitely talk about doing a nonprofit educational law program. I would love to discuss that with you. Now, the first thing you wanted about a fundraising cruise is an easy way to raise money for your favorite charity or your favorite organization. It doesn't necessarily have to be a charity. It could be for a scholarship program. It could be, to raise money to go into community outreach program. It's limitless. As long as it's part of a nonprofit organization and that's what you're trying to do, then it all works. You don't have to worry about doing an auction, a bazaar, all the dinner dances, and I'm a Zeta, so they're very famous for doing the little restaurant meetups or doing the balls all through fall and everything. And this is something that you can do different. The second reason is it's an opportunity to build camaraderie and networking while cruising, because this is also a great way to invite some of the more prominent people of the organization to come out to actual local. Say, for instance, I'm in Baltimore area, so we have a cruise port here. So we can choose an organization and say this is what they're doing, and we can invite them, some of the dignitaries and all of the famous people or whatever, the politicians, or I don't want to say famous, but the people the people in the neighborhood that are really well known and stuff like that. Invite them to come out onto the ship and support and things like that, because they'll be able to bring followers with them. Now, the earned cruise credits, they quickly add up to money for your organizations, and we're going to break that down a little bit more on how that all works. But you can offer these credits to help with the cost of the cruise. Some of the things you're talking about is when you book a certain amount of cabins, Norwegian actually gives you the option of getting 2 cabins for free, or you can add on an additional amenity. One of the amenities is already going to go towards the fundraiser, but you can always choose a second. Then, of course, you might want to decide to sell some of the cruise credits, like the free cabins. You can actually sell it or raffle it as some extra income for somebody who may want to go and they just want to raffle to see if they win, or you can give it away as a giveaway for a deserving person. Like, for instance, with the lupus, you can give it away to a lupus family for them to come on a cruise with you. And then, of course, you're going to have so much support and materials, including flyers that we will help you, as well as a web page that I would set up for you that all of your people can go to, get information, interact. And I do suggest Facebook if you have it. And then by having a cruise informational night for your group, you'll be able to promote and talk about the fundraising cruise, and you should even get people to start registering. Now, with this cruise night, it does not have to be a live event, because I know I'm touching people all around the country and even the world. We can do this virtually like we're doing here. So we can set up an event like this, and we can go through the whole process, talk about the history. I'll have one of you with me talk about the history of the organization, why you're deciding to do this, where the money is going to go to, and then we'll talk about the actual ship, where we're trying to go, and things of that nature, as well as costs. Now, the next thing we're going to talk about is how a fundraising cruise can work with Norwegian Cruise Line. Now, this is the example I wanted to show you about how much money you can make, because I'm sure at this point you're probably sitting here saying, well, how much money can I actually make? Now, once you select a cruise itinerary with amenity points that could be converted to fundraising dollars, with Norwegian, it is $75 per cabin. So think about that. $75 per cabin will go to your fundraising. Now, Norwegian will also allow you to mark up the price up to $25 to $100 per passenger to increase the profit margin. So basically, when this ends up saying is that you can upgrade the price that you can use to go towards the fundraiser and make even more of a profit towards your cause, or you can even use some of that money to go towards maybe a private cocktail party or special event on the ship. With Norwegian, after 8 cabins are booked, you will begin earning a fundraiser credit per cabin. So once you've booked your 8 cabins, you're going to get that 75 per cabin automatically. It's going to start accumulating. Then you also begin to earn those free cabins that I spoke about, that you can either raffle it off or you can donate it to somebody. But if you raffle it off or even donate to somebody, all they have to pay is the taxes and the fees only for that actual sailing. Now, at the end, the example that I have is you have 40 people cruising, 20 cabins based on double occupancy on a fundraising cruise. So let's just say the amenity points were $75 per person. So that's $1,500 right there just from 20 cabins. You've made $1,500. I know for many people, $1,500 is really hard to accumulate when you're just having a ball or a party or anything like that. Now you can mark it up, say $50 per passenger, and it comes out to $2,000, which total earns $3,500. And I think my math is off, because I think that actually should be 100, and you should be even higher than that. But even still, $3,500 for a 3-day, 4-day, 5-day, 7-day cruise is amazing, because there's no limitations that says it has to be a certain length. So if you choose a 4-day cruise that leaves on Thursday, comes back Sunday or Friday, and comes back Monday, that way people don't have to take off that much time, you're still going to earn that same amount of money. And I know for many of you watching it, you're probably like, oh my goodness, this can't be real, but it is. I had a full conversation with Norwegian, and they are so looking forward to doing it. Now, the next thing that we're going to talk about is how to get started. And just follow these easy steps and you'll definitely be on your way. You want to gather a group of at least 10 people who would like to cruise together to support your nonprofit organization. This will call for your organization and their members to start soliciting, start talking to people and say, hey, who would you support us by going on a 4-day Bahama cruise on Norwegian? And, you know, portion of the sales is going to go to support my organization's scholarship ball that we're trying to do, or we're trying to put money into our scholarship fund for some high school kids. Then you'll contact me, and then we'll work together to select the cruise itinerary and departure date with fundraising amenity points. Then you will provide me with your 501c3. And for those that are chapters of a larger organization, all I really need is the national level of the 501c3. I am in talks with Norwegian because I believe there's a second form that can be used as well in order to have the funds go to the organization. They just have to answer certain questions to show that they're not a for-profit organization. And I'm still waiting on her to actually give me that form so I can review it. And then we'll review and accept a written proposal based on the communication between you and us, as well as Norwegian. And this proposal is basically going to say that we are doing a 7-day cruise out of San Juan on Norwegian to the exotic islands. We are going to be having a $75 fundraising amenity for every single cruise cabin that we reserve. And then we're going to tack on an extra $100 to go towards the extra funds to go towards any special events that we're trying to plan. Anything left over might go towards go to profits for the fundraiser. And how many rooms would you like to reserve? Now, you definitely want to make sure that you set a time and location for the cruise information night. And again, it can be virtual. And I think virtual is really better, especially if we're not nearby. Virtual is better because you can touch so many more people, and then make sure your own people attend the cruise night. So if I'm talking to organizations that live within the Maryland, DC, Virginia area, and we have a cruise night at a location, I would hope that some of your people would actually come and bring people with them. Now, we're going to begin to collect booking forms and deposits. Now, this also can be done via Eventbrite following certain rules, and this is something that we'll talk in depth if you do decide to work with me. One of the great things I like about Norwegian, the deposit is $50 per person. $50 per person, not $100, not $250, not $300. $50 per person gets you into a cabin. And then we can work with the clients to collect payments after the initial deposits. So after that point, I can start taking the payments directly from the clients and putting it into the system. So you don't necessarily have to worry about that. All you really have to worry about is getting those initial deposits, getting those initial things set up. But we can work out a plan that will work for everybody. And then since this is a cruise, everyone can do online check-in. And during this online check-in, they'll provide all the information that they need. They'll get all the documents that they need in order to get on the ship. And you don't have to worry about anything. And then after that, it's ready, set, cruise, repeat. Because you know what? You're going to want to do this every single year. And just think about it. If you have an annual cruise every year and it just keeps growing and growing and growing, you could be doing so much for your community on that aspect. Now, I've skipped the slide, so I hit the buttons a little bit too fast. But here are some of the frequently asked questions I generally get. Does your organization have to place a deposit to hold the space? No. The deposit comes from those sailing. If you require certain spaces, audio-visual items, or if you want private party, there may be some added fees, but it's really not that expensive. The spaces are generally free unless you're asking for them to shut down, say, maybe one of the bars and keep it enclosed just for you. Nobody else can enter type situation. The beauty of this is there's no money down. There's nothing that has to go against the organization at all. You have about 60 to 90 days to actually start collecting funds. But in all reality, if we know that it's going to be a $50 deposit, you can actually start collecting it early as we get the final things inked out. Because once you pick the date and I start reserving and I start locking in the rooms with the cruise line, you're basically good to go. Now, I know another thing I often get is, does everybody in the chapter, the organization, the committee have to attend the cruise? Nope. You can only need about 3 or 4 people at a minimum to attend to help coordinate the activities and interact with your supporters. Of course, the more the merrier. And of course, the larger the group, the more people that you're going to want to actually come on. Because even though you are going to have a cruise entertainment specialist with you, activities director, they also have to deal with other organizations and other activities that are happening on the ship. And plus, you know what? They know you. They don't know this person on the ship. Now, another question I've gotten is, can you have special guest speakers or hold events aboard this ship? Yes, you definitely want to do that. This is going to be worked out prior to releasing prices due to the cost for the AV, the food and beverage or private space, because you can add that back into the actual price for the client. That way, again, there's very little money coming out of the pocket for the cruise line. For the nonprofit organization. Can people just donate to the cause without actually selling? Of course, they can donate directly to the organization, however we set it up, but it'll be more of a memorable event if they attended themselves with their friends and family versus just giving you some money. You want them to come out, you want them to interact with you and learn about your organization versus just dropping some money down. Now, are there any restrictions or where and when you can sell? All of the affinity groups allow you to use the fundraising amenity, and you can virtually sell from any cruise port around the world. So if you want to sell from Miami, Los Angeles, New Orleans, Japan, Europe, Dubai, anywhere Norwegian actually ports, you can actually sell. And something else that, I didn't put on here and I didn't think about is, can you add flight to the prices? Yes, if it's within a certain time, you can add flights so people can go ahead and start prepaying for their flights and things of that nature. So I want to thank you for going ahead and being here. Now, hopefully, I know this was short and this is a little bit quick, but I wanted to get this information out there and get people thinking about it. So I look forward to working with you on your next group cruise and hopefully turning it into a great fundraiser, because you know what it is? We want people to travel with a cause. So on the screen, you have my email address. You could just drop me an email and let me know, hey, I have some questions. I want to learn a little bit more. Or you can visit my website where all this information is actually found. I pulled this from the website that I designed. And you can also contact me directly from there as well. Or you can give me a call at the number that is on the screen, or you can send me a text message, and we can go ahead and get started on doing your cruise. Now, I saw it. I want to, oops, hit the wrong button. So I don't want to do that. I messed up. I got a black screen, but I wanted to make sure that, Linda, we actually get together and actually talk about what it is that you want to do. I would love to go ahead and move forward. I'm going to put my email address in this box here on the Zoom, so you can go ahead and contact me, because I'm not sure if you was able to actually get it when I was typing it, and let us know how I can help you. Doris Tucker, I would love to do the same thing with you. And I hope everybody has a great evening and enjoys the rest of their Monday night. And